I felt welcome from day one, and it was pretty easy for me to accept and adapt local traditions, start speaking language. Maybe my curiosity helped me with it, because I wouldn't stop bothering people around me asking what he just said, what is that or this in Greek, how would you say this or that. So I started very quickly seeing myself as a part of this place. I believe the strongest selling point about Limassol is our rhythm. We still have time to enjoy activities. We have to appreciate the security of the island. We are blessed to have very low crime rates. Personally, I feel blessed being here in these days and being able to help my family and some people I know in relocation, basically.
People, stories, social issues, environment, sports, arts and culture, life, urban issues, innovation. This is the Air Uncut.
Welcome to Limassol Ambassadors, the podcast series of Air Uncut channel that talks about diversity. Diversity in a very specific way. We hope that with our conversations, active citizens from all different nationalities living in Limassol get to know better one another and hopefully, long-term objective, why not, end up by finding ways of working together. Because at the end of the day, we all have the same objective, is to improve the future of life in Limassol. Today with me, I have Elena from
Donetsk.
And I'm sorry, but I keep on having difficulties on pronouncing certain names in certain languages. And Elena is here to tell us her story about what it is like to come to Limassol many, many years ago, when everything was very different, and how it is like to be here today. Before I start with questioning Elena, I would like to bring some sort of background to our listeners and viewers, which has to do with the fact that Cyprus, I have been monitoring this matter for nearly 30 years, Cyprus has always had a very special way of letting all nationalities, even those who were coming from conflict zones, even those who were living next door to other people that are coming from maybe what would be the other side. And they all end up by finding the way of showing mutual respect for the place they came in. I have seen this in Nicosia with the embassy of USA, to be just across the street from the embassy of USSR, back in the days. I've seen this with a very diplomatic coexistence between all the countries of Middle East, including one side, the other side, the front side, all the sides. And I have seen this as well with Cypriots themselves elsewhere. So I think it's very interesting for all of us who come from different nationalities to think about this. Cypriots, when they are, let's say, in a different environment, let's say London, for instance, that I have seen with my own eyes, we have seen Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots being friends, going to the same cafe and having a chat over a cup of sketo or metrio somewhere in the north of London. So I would like to help all of us that are listening to this to try and see a bit Limassol and Cyprus at large as what we would say in diplomatic terms, the Switzerland of Middle East. So after this small introduction, I would like to ask Elena, who is one of the smiliest person I've ever seen, if you can use this word. She has always a very beautiful smile. And she also has a very positive approach to life. And today I'm going to ask her, first of all, what was it like when you came to Cyprus and your integration? Take us back then, and then we'll come back to the present. When was this?
Well, it was back in 2002, and it was an easy and smooth progress, in my case, because I believe we attract what we are, and if you are a positive and happy person, positive and happy experiences will come into your life. Mm-hmm. So I felt welcome from day one, and it was pretty easy for me to accept and adapt local traditions, start speaking language. I was Maybe my curiosity helped me with it, because I wouldn't stop bothering people around me asking what he just said, what is that or this in Greek, how would you say this or that. So I started very quickly seeing myself as a part of this place, and I felt home maybe a year later, since I first came to Cyprus.
You felt home in which way? Was it the fact that you felt people were welcoming you, and you were able as well maybe to already find friends, find some sort of circle for you to feel
my circle? Firstly, I fell in love. Oh, right. That was the number one reason. So I thought that is perfect place to build a family, to call it home. And so here I am.
Very, very good. So basically, your curiosity, and I think we share the same addiction. We are addicted to learning. I know that about you, right? You like to learn new things, and we'll go there as well a bit later. But here it was learning the society, learning the language, learning everything
new around you. It was interesting in a way. I remember TV helped me a lot. I was reading subtitles because then we had lack of information in different languages, so I could watch local programs, films with Greek subtitles, and it helped me a lot. I would even try to read magazines then. I had translator, vocabulary. Can we cut it?
Yes, okay. Cut. She would like to re-say this part. Is it okay, Alex? So you start again where you wanted to.
TV helped me a lot with this matter, so I learned how to read. For us, it's easy because Cyrillic are based on Greek alphabet, so it was quite easy for me to learn to read Greek, and then the process was
Were you
smooth.
working? Because this is, I would say, one of the very important ways of integrating is when you start working and be part of some sort of project.
Yes, I worked in sales from very beginning, and then I joined a local development company,
right?
And
so
I stayed there for over 10 years.
investment consultant, you told me before, yes?
That's right.
Right. Is this the sort of thing that you would like to do, or it just happened to be the area at the time where there was a gap and they would need people, I'm sure, because of your language background, right?
That's right. It happened, but I feel I was lucky in this way because I discovered that I'm doing something that I love. I meet new people every day. I interact with different cultures,
Yeah, yeah.
different
backgrounds basically as well. I think this is one of your, from what I know of you, and the reason why I thought you were a very interesting guest for our podcast is because I've seen how well you deal with global communication. Is not an easy thing. People think it's just a matter of knowing English and that's it. It's much more than that. It's very important to try to understand a bit the psychology of the person in front of you, and especially when it comes to a point where they are supposedly going to buy or invest big amounts of money. It really requires a lot of perception and ability to read what are the main reasons why those people who are in front of you want to come and invest in Cyprus. And this, I would say, might be connected as well with one of your big loves from what we spoke earlier, history of art.
History of art.
Yes, I think this shows a little bit the other, let's say, deeper side of you. Do you use this sort of knowledge as well to develop?
Lately, because I started taking this course a year ago, and yes, it's so interesting and it involves so many nations and cultures, and we are so much into this subject as an island. There are many interesting facts about Cyprus.
Definitely. So you use that sort of knowledge into your also sort of sales conversations, and
in a way, yes.
Yes, good. That's a very interesting.
But it's always
aspect.
important to believe in your product. Once you believe in your product, it's easy to sell. You don't even remember that you are selling something. You just put it in a way that you would buy it yourself, and it's so easy to promote it.
Yes, and this is how you promote so well Limassol. So how would you sell Limassol to someone? Tell us.
Today, I believe the strongest selling point about Limassol is our rhythm, because I know it has changed nowadays, and we are dealing with more traffics, more people everywhere, but we still have time to enjoy activities because we don't spend time in traffics as in other countries and in other cities. The distances are very short, so even if we spend a double amount of time stuck in traffic lights, we still have rest of the time for us, and the island is offering us so many activities and so many outdoor activities which we can enjoy nearly 12 months a year.
Very good point. So, I believe that whenever people complain about anything in the world, it's not a matter of Limassol or any other. It's a general human aspect. When we sometimes we were spending maybe 10 minutes in the traffic to go somewhere, and now we spend 20 or 25, the first reaction is to complain about it. But if you come from a place where you know that, I mean, 25 minutes is
It's a joke.
really, yeah, it's a joke. It's not even happening. So it's always over 40 minutes or over 1 hour. Then we say, well, 25 minutes, as you just said, it's still very little. So it's all a matter of what we compare things to, and also how positive we are about life.
Absolutely. And very important reason to stay here, to enjoy Cyprus, is its safety. We have to appreciate the security of the island. We are blessed to have very low crime rates.
I feel that now it's the moment for me to come back to a painful part of your past experiences, which is, now that you mentioned safety, Ukrainians right now back in Ukraine, and especially the area that you come from, Donetsk, is definitely
Unfair.
a luxury if they would have safety, right? For them, safety to be like the biggest miracle they could reach now, right?
Especially now in these
How
days.
does it feel for you to be
Well-
here and see these things happening so far away, but inside your heart is so close to you?
Personally, I feel blessed being here in these days and being able to help my family and some people I know in relocation, basically, and adaptation here for, we don't know, uncertain period of time.
Yes.
So
Yeah, even though they are here temporarily, they still need as well a process of integration. Very, very
exactly,
correct,
they don't
yes.
speak language, they don't drive these side and they are elder people, most of them, because youngest must stay there in reserve,
Yes.
they're serving.
Yes.
So it is very sad by
Yeah.
all means, and it's so unfair to people. Even though we're through this painful process of the war, I still feel that we are not enemies. We are two nations that see each other as friends, and too many families have mixed relatives,
Yes.
involved.
Yes, and I remember from the very first beginning when you came. I met you when you were dealing with different buyers and investors, and precisely the fact that you could understand both Russians and Ukrainians. For you, it was just natural, and everybody would feel very lucky to be able to have you here to show them around and explain them things, because a lot of them, they could not even speak English. So
That's right.
this shows that not very, very, very long time ago, we're talking about 10, 12 years ago, things were completely different.
Things were naturally different, and they remain
Connected.
connected
Yes.
as nations.
I mean, I think it's very important to bring up situations which are practical situations to give a better idea of how people feel. I mean, I've seen that in many other contexts, not just in Cyprus, not just now between Ukrainians and Russians, but I think it has to be said. Schools. schools, it's an amazing setting where we can see that children, they are friends and they become friends with one another without asking, to see the passport, right?
Absolutely.
How does it happen with your son?
Exactly the same way, because he goes to international school and he's in same class with some kids from mixed families. I mean, Cypriot with Russians and Ukrainians, immigrants that came after war, and they perfectly interact together.
Yeah.
Israeli kids also.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I would say that it's very important to see things at the level of people, of individuals, because let's go back to the first years of when you came to Cyprus. You felt straight away, I mean, 1 year is like straight away that it was home. How much of the individual side of the story would you say contributed to that? Was it a matter of the job? Was it a matter of the people? Was it a matter of the lifestyle? What was it that was the most important element for you to feel home?
I think the family of my former partner then, they accepted me as a member of the family from day one, and I felt home celebrating some traditional holidays with them, going out with them, listening to local songs. Sometimes I'm driving the car with clients and I can sing some song and say, oh, you know the lyrics of the song, and the sound as an old song. And I said, I've heard it so many times that it comes naturally, but it's shows that you enjoy being among this situation, among these people, because you feel like you're part of it. And
it's the belonging, right? It's the belonging to something,
belonging to community, to society, to
and the place. I feel that one of the reasons why I always ask my guests to show us on the map which are the spots that let's say their favorite spots in Limassol. It's because I think wherever we live, whatever the place, whatever the country, there are always some elements of the setting of the architecture or the nature or something that attracts us and connects at a different level. What are the points where you feel more connected to in Limassol? Could you show us on the map and maybe put your pins there?
I enjoy very much the old part of Limassol city. It's where we are right now.
Yeah. And
it is near
there. Okay. So Old Town wins.
Old Town.
What else?
Old Town, because it shows city's identity. I believe Limassol's identity is here. It's about little cafes on the pavements, local elderly people who stay with a cup of coffee for the time. These nice, colorful doorways, and then something new you will always discover in little corners, little galleries, art studios, workshops. It just feels so much traditional and authentic in a way.
And I also would add to that the fact that even today, when we walk through those little alleys, even if it is at night, you feel safe, right?
Absolutely.
Which is not the case with many cities and many historical centers of many cities in Europe. So we are lucky in that aspect as well.
And we are lucky to have our families and children here, because I personally don't feel any stress when my son goes for a walk or to his gathering with friends on weekends, because I know nothing will happen to him.
Yeah, very important, the safety aspect, obviously. What else could you give us as your favorite
Well, I
spot?
like very much the area underneath Amathusia Hills.
So seafront, huh? You want to
Seafront.
see
It's near
to-
Avia Varvara Church.
Very nice.
Had a beautiful tree here.
So next to Aya Varvara Church. And what do you
right
like?
here.
Yes, that's it. All right.
Archaeological sites.
Archaeological site. So it's your love for
My passion.
Yes, for history of art, antiquities, and what would you say it's the most important site for anyone who comes to Cyprus and doesn't have a lot of days to visit? What is the site, the historical site that they really should make a point of visiting?
Castle area in Limassol.
Castle.
Within walking distance again from the old city. It's the heart of the old city. And the
Curio, yes.
Amphitheater.
And if they come in August, try to be at one of those Greek tragedies.
I enjoyed a couple of wonderful performances
it's amazing.
last summer. One was ballet, and another one was famous Ukrainian piano player Igor Khmara. He performed live
there on
Koreans.
on Koreans. Especially if you have the moonlight that day. My God!
Oh, it's amazing.
It's a scenario that you cannot recreate that with.
It's a wonderful feeling.
Any equipment.
It's a memory that we put aside and open a little box when we need a good vibe, a good feeling to warm us up during some.
What about
other
Greek?
Stressful periods.
I mean, you have learned Greek, and you are a very good. I mean, you speak several languages, right? You speak how many languages?
My native is Russian language. I do understand and I can speak Ukrainian, but not as fluent as Russian.
Okay.
Greek.
English. Yes. So, what about Greek words? What would you say are the most important Greek words for someone to learn?
Important.
Yes, either to be to be around, so practical words, or to understand the Greek culture, because you like to go into depth. So maybe you could give us some sort of, like in Portuguese, we have this word which is saudade, and I'm not going to explain everything today here, but there are certain words that is like, that word, it says a lot about.
So that is a feeling that you miss.
Know. Yes, it's missing, but it's even deeper than missing. Well done. But I mean, in Greek, what would be the word that you feel that it says a lot about the Greek culture?
There are so many words that we have in common in Russian language.
Okay.
So for me, Greek came naturally.
Okay, so you don't find something specific.
Something
what
specific.
About Sophia? I find this amazing.
Sophia,
this word that is it's a name of a person. It can be the name of a person, but at the same time,
all the Greek names mean something.
Yeah, it's so powerful, isn't it?
Sophia.
Yeah, to wisdom. Anyway, so you definitely have a good example about learning Greek.
Although it's a very difficult language, there are some words I still cannot pronounce.
Oh, me too. I mean, I think
like the juice, orange juice, espiridoidon.
Oh wow! Yeah,
it's hard to pronounce.
Very hard. Yeah, but that's the beauty.
Espiridoidon.
Yeah, well, there you see that you can always ask for himos, right? And then
yes,
and portocalada, and you'll still have a juice. So you are not in trouble.
English doesn't help. In Cyprus, everyone can speak
Yeah,
English.
this is it. Yeah, in Cyprus, everyone can speak English, even if it's very, very basic. They will make the effort, and that again says a lot about people. The fact that they want to communicate with others. Now, what about you communicating with others and having all sorts of nationalities as friends? What are the nationalities of your friends? Tell us a variety, the
Well, they are
spectrum.
apparently from ex-Soviet republics, Ukraine, Russia, Iranian. We have wonderful people, our friends from Iran, some Asian countries too, maybe in last 5 years.
So
British,
British friends as well. So,
British, so many of them
and of course
too.
Cypriots, because you have also half. Well, you have the family here is from your former partner, which is Cypriot. So you also have family
I
in there.
found very interesting people who immigrated to other countries decades ago and came back to Cyprus. I mean, like British Cypriots, Canadian Cypriots, Australian Cypriots.
Right. Yes. Okay.
I find them more traditional in a way, how they keep some customs within their
Okay.
families, the language that they speak. They cherish these little things, and they do pass it to next generations. So there are many interesting cases I remember from dealing with
Yeah.
Greek, with English Cypriots and
Yeah. English
Australian
Cypriots, Canadian,
Cypriots,
Australian Cypriots,
South Africans.
yeah, yeah.
So
And it's quite interesting because when I also have quite a lot of friends from those communities, it's quite interesting that when they come back, yes, they of course they connect again with their families who were here all the time, that never left Cyprus, but they have this sort of need as well to feel that they are still international, and they develop very easily friendships with other nationalities, Ukrainians, Russians, Portuguese, whatever. So they keep a certain international element in their interests. So before we go, I think it's very important to talk a little bit about your other side, which is an active citizen, always trying to find ways to develop activities that are not necessarily your work, is not your it's not part of your family duties. It's just because you look around you and you see that someone has to do something about this. And I know that your major interest in this area is to look after, whenever possible, to look after stray cats mainly, right? Tell us a
cats
little
and
bit.
dogs
And dogs as
sometimes.
well.
When they come
Yes.
my way, I do deal with dogs
Yeah.
too. But cats, because I believe that they are so much unprotected, and there is a massive problem about stray cats in Cyprus that I believe we need to educate more people about simple stuff that everyone can do. The place maybe a bowl with water during the hot summer, or maybe to give some dry food for them to keep them.
These are the things that you feel that anybody
Everyone
could do
can
and should
do
do.
it,
Yes.
but
What about in terms of suggestions for, because it's a problem, right? What sort of suggestions to solve this problem?
I'm dealing with so much volunteers. I'm not volunteering myself on regular basis, but again, whenever I can dedicate a little time to maybe to go and attend some local pounds and shelters for dog walks, or to supply them with some stuff, to fund them sometimes too. I can see they are in such a huge need for simple things like resources. They need people to give a hand. They need some transportation, some medication, and if we all would do a little something to help him, to give him a hand, they would feel so much relief, and they would do so much more. And the priority is to control the population of those stray animals, because the shelters are overloaded. The cats are too many on the streets, and if we all, let's say, collect a few animals in our neighborhoods and take them to vet clinics in order to sterilize them.
Yeah, sterilization program, it's a big issue. Would you consider this as your major suggestion maybe to local authorities? What would you suggest if you had the opportunity to speak with the next mayor, let's say, of Limassol?
What would be a great help. But I would suggest to open maybe a new department, and to hire some professionals who would do it on regular and transparent basis. I mean, to settle a new process of
maybe a systematic control.
Systematic
control that would be under the wing of some sort of department with the municipality. You're saying,
and to reduce maybe to establish some institutes for strays only, because the volunteers are dealing with same prices as you would take your pet, for example, there. But with your pet, you're dealing time to time, and strays are too many, so they should be reduced prices for strays.
So this means that the vets as well, they would have to have some sort of agreement, and then offer different prices when it's a matter of
agreement. But
there is
so little. I mean,
it's not sufficient.
It's a drop in the ocean. It's not sufficient.
Well, yes, it's very obvious that your empathy towards those who have nobody to protect, in this case, the cats and the dogs, the stray cats and the dogs, it's a part of your character, because you are also very strong when it comes to deal with people with empathy as well. We just heard you saying before, and I will keep this as my takeaway, is that we are not enemies. I think we need more people like you to understand that life has to be a way of finding better solutions, go forward, and try to develop opportunities and channels of working together rather than working against one another. I think that we are very lucky to have you in Limassol with us. Thank you very much, Elena, for being here today and tell us your story. The objective here is just to let people get to know one another. Hopefully at some point we are going to find ways of connecting all our Limassol ambassadors, because we all have the same common objective, the same common goal, which is do our best to improve Limassol and make Limassol a better city for all of us, because we are sharing it. So
it is already in a very, very good way of improving. We are dealing with modern city, which is turning into international center of services. we
Indeed.
attracted so many businesses lately.
Indeed. So let's get the positive out of this situation while dealing with the problems, obviously. But let's focus on the positive and let's make sure that all these nationalities here together for different reasons, they can contribute all the same way to a better Limassol. Thank you very much for being with us once more.
Thank you very much for inviting
very
me.
much for all of you that have been listening and watching us. We are going to publish an article very soon, which is how to become an active citizen, because that's the key. We all have to be active citizens. If you are not already one, we are going to give you a few suggestions, specific suggestions for you to start. And then once we start, you'll see, we'll all become this big community of all sorts of nationalities. So once more, thank you for being today with us. And next week, we'll have another guest from another nationality, one more with whom we hope we will all connect with at some point. Thank you, and till next week.
This is the El Air Uncut.